It's not a nice thought, and I've dealt with corporate manslaughter cases, that a high percentage of operators are at risk of a corporate manslaughter charge. Now, that's not saying that a high percentage of operators are going out and flouting the law day in, day out. That is far from the truth. But a high percentage of operators do not have sufficiently robust systems to find the rogue driver in their fleet to make sure it doesn't happen. That rogue driver, I was just at an operator just last week, they have a system, they do their analysis, they have a training course, but they don't produce one of the vital reports, which I'll come on to later. And all of a sudden, you find that drivers are falsifying records. You ask them the question at the very start of it, do you have drivers falsifying records at this company? No. I can almost guarantee that in a fleet of 30 or 40 drivers, you will have at least one who at some stage will falsify records. Because falsification doesn't necessarily mean it's got to be for the benefit of the company. Sometimes that benefit is for the driver, because he's got to get back, because his wife wants him back, or the husband wants him back, or somebody says, oh, the lads are out tonight. Are you going to get back? Oh yeah, I can do it. I had one case where I said to the drivers, you're always, there's a set run where you're always pulling the card. I said, there's 3 or 4 of you doing it. I said, what's going on? I said, is there a place? Oh yeah, he says, it won't go any further, will it? I said, well, there's no name. I was like, what is it? He says, there's a really good dogging site up there. He says, that's where we go to. I'm there thinking, they're crying out loud. But the point is, they will do things for different reasons. But your systems have to spot them. It's not suitable later on saying, oh, well, when VOSA find it, your systems need to find it. So when you get a new driver, how do you incorporate him into your system? We talked about the working time directive. By law, when a driver leaves, he should ask you for his working time directive for that reference period. You should be able to give it to him. And when he comes to a new company, he should be able to go, there you are, there's my working time directive, and you can incorporate him into your system. But I can tell you now, the vast majority, if any, won't do that. At induction, what do you do when you get a new driver? You've got these expensive pieces of equipment. Oh, you've been driving 20 years, off you go. Maybe you might sit with another driver for a couple of days and learn the routes or learn the customers. But at the end of the day, that new driver is now under your undertaking, under your control, under your organisation. So you need to look at his training. I know there's driver CPC training. I know that new drivers should have the 35 hours. I also know that some of the driver CPC training is substandard. I also know that some of the driver CPC training is inaccurate. Okay? You have to train him. You have to have the systems, the induction documents, and you need to assess his driving. One of my customers started taking the drivers out. They had a new driver come in. He told them to get out by the time they got to the end of the trading estate because he was so incapable of controlling the vehicle. And yet you're taking a risk potentially of sending him out with absolutely no assessment whatsoever.